Good morning, happy Thursday. Today we're going to read two chapters from Wayside School Beneath the Cloud of Doom. The first chapter is called Unbreakables, and it looks like Neville is going to join us today. It's bad enough when two friends fight. It's even worse when three friends pick on a fourth. Joe and John were best friends. Shut up, said Joe. You shut up, said John. Ronnie and Allison were best friends. May I borrow a pencil? Asked Allison. Here, stick it up your nose, said Ronnie. Maybe it was because they were worried and anxious about the cloud of doom looming above them. But maybe it was because their fingernails and toenails were growing too fast. For whatever reason, the longer everyone spent beneath the cloud, the crabbier they got. Mauricia, Joy, Dee Dee, and Ron were more than just best friends forever. Their friendship was so strong they called themselves the Unbreakables. Every morning, they met before school by the flagpole. They had a special four-handed handshake. Each would hold out one hand, and they lock thumbs to pinkies. They raise and lower their hand, shout three times, and shout, "Unbreakable!" The lunch bell kaboinked 4 times, and the Unbreakables headed down the stairs together. I wonder what we're having today, Dee Dee said. Didn't you count the kaboinks? Said Mauricia. Spaghetti and feet balls. Yeah, feet balls, said Joy. Oh, I like those, said Dee Dee. You would, said Ron. They smell as bad as your feet. He held his nose. My feet don't stink, said Dee Dee. Joy held her nose, too, and said, not to you, but to everyone else. Mauricia and Ron laughed. They entered the cafeteria. Dee Dee took a tray and pushed it to Miss Mush. The lunch teacher handed her a plate of spaghetti topped with a foot-shaped meat patty. Ew. Dee Dee set the plate on her tray and next to her history book. She was careful not to spill any feet sauce. Her half-finished homework was folded inside the book. It was due after lunch. She sat down with the others at one of the long tables. She cut off a piece of feet ball, swished it around in the sauce, and ate it. You ate the heel first? Asked Mauricia. So what's wrong with that? Asked Dee Dee. It's gross, said Ron. You're supposed to start with the toes. Who says? It's just how it's done, said Joy. Ask anyone. You don't know everything, Dee Dee said angrily as she shook her fork at her friends. A bit of sauce dropped on her paper. Now look what you did, she accused. You did it to yourself, said Joy. Dee Dee tried to wipe it up with her napkin, but that only made it worse. Now I have to start all over, she complained. Dee Dee remained in the cafeteria long after her friends left to go play. She still had one question to answer and one toe left to eat. It didn't seem fair that her friends were outside playing while she was stuck inside. Stupid Ron, she muttered. Stupid Mauricia. Stupid Joy. They're the ones with stinky feet. When at last she finished, she put her dishes in the tray and dumped her trash. She hurried out of the lunchroom and down the stairs. Once outside, she saw them playing 3 square and wasn't sure if she even wanted to join them. Suddenly, her face filled with horror. Oh no, she called out, and then pulled her hair with both hands. She didn't have her homework or her history book. She turned and ran back into the building. Miss Mush and Mr. Pepperratter were busy wiping the counter with dish rags when Dee Dee came rushing up them. Hi, Dee Dee. Did you want seconds? Asked Miss Mush asked hopefully. We put everything away, but I'd be happy to heat up another plate. Out of breath, Dee Dee explained about her book and her homework. Neither Miss Mush nor Mr. Pepperratter remembered seeing it. And I've already dumped all the trash, said Mr. Pepperratter. There were 4 large dumpsters in the back of Wayside School. A pair of feet was sticking out of one of them. Upside down, buried in trash, Dee Dee tried to read every wrinkled and soggy piece of paper she dug through half-eaten feet balls, strands of spaghetti, drippy milk cartons, apple cores, pickle slices, and who knows what else. It's impossible. There's no way, she cried. Then, just when all hope seemed lost, a noise came from somewhere deep inside the dumpster next to hers. Found it, called Ron. Rustling sounds could be heard from inside the other 2 dumpsters. Hooray, cheered Mauricia. Wow, what a relief, shouted Joy. Yes, there were 6 feet sticking up from the dumpsters. They were the Unbreakables. Not even a cloud of doom could destroy their friendships. But that was only the first test. The ultimate test was still to come. There's
If you hear the noise in the background, it's that one.
Chapter 16. A short chapter about a long book. Remember, I believe it was Jason who took out a page, the book in the library with the most pages, so he could make sure he read more than Allison, I believe. Read a book, write a book report, draw a picture. That was the assignment Mrs. Jules put up on the board. Don't worry, you haven't already read this chapter. Mrs. Jules assigns a lot of book reports. For some reason, she thought reading was important.
She's right, reading is important.
Whenever Jason looked at the board, he got a heavy feeling in the pit of his stomach, almost as heavy as the 999-page book, as he lugged it around in his backpack. It wasn't like his own cloud of doom that he took wherever he went. He didn't know how he'd ever read it. His book report was already 3 weeks late. One time, his bookmark fell out. It took him 20 minutes just to find his place. He was very disappointed to discover he was only on page 6. Oh, boy. Jason, is your book report ready yet? Mrs. Jules asked him each day as he walked into class. Sorry, Mrs. Jules, he told her. It's a really, really long book. He always answered with the same way, although the number of reallys varied. How do you like your book? Allison asked him. Have you finished it yet? Asked Rondi. Two girls giggled. He wondered if anyone had ever read a book with 999 pages. Maybe the author had never even finished writing it. Perhaps she quit after 300 pages, figuring no one would ever get that far anyway. That evening, however, something strange happened. Jason was trying to get through page 26, and then when suddenly he laughed. He read some more, and he laughed again. It was as if he and the character had become friends. He read for an entire hour without realizing it. When he reached page 70, something sad happened. He hoped his sister didn't notice his tears. He stayed up all night. He read about exciting battles of strange and goofy animals. No matter how tired he got, he just kept needing to know what happened next. The next day, during recess, while everyone else played, Jason preferred to sit by himself with his book. He even liked the kissing parts, but had to keep glancing around to make sure Allison and Rondi wouldn't see what he was reading. The two girls came toward him. He'll never finish it, said Allison. No way, Rondi agreed. Shh, said Jason. I'm trying to read. Do you get that way when you read a really good book, that it's hard to put down? That's how I am. I've stayed up several nights reading a book because I just needed to know what was going to happen. All right, ladies and gents, happy Thursday. Have a great day.